They said the river in Ayetoro only whispered during Hamatan nights. Its voice was soft, like a grieving woman humming under the moonlight. Few believed this until Aduni vanished. That night, the moon was swollen and red, hanging above the palm trees like an omen. Children had stopped playing. Even the crickets were silent, waiting for the first scream. Aduni was last seen by the river, kneeling with her calabash, whispering prayers to Yemoja, the mother of waters. She had lost her husband 2 moons earlier. Her grief became legend. Villagers said she sought comfort from the goddess, hoping her tears would reach beyond the currents. But what they found the next morning changed Ayetoro forever. Her calabash floated, spinning slowly. Her blue and white wrapper was tangled among reeds, and the river, once calm, now flowed like something alive and angry. The elders gathered at dawn, staring at the water's restless movements. Omi Kiso, the oldest, muttered, "The river does not sleep." Before her disappearance, Adoni was the most radiant woman in Ayetoro. Her laughter filled the market square. Her jele always tied high, her wrists jingling with coral beads. She sold palm oil beside the shrine road, her table shaded by an ancient udala tree. People came not just to buy, but also to watch her smile, a smile that healed hearts. But the joy ended when her husband, Bamidele, mysteriously drowned while fishing during Ogun Festival week. His canoe returned empty, gliding silently to shore as if guided by unseen hands. The villagers whispered it was Yemoja's doing, a sacrifice taken by the waters. But Aduli refused to believe it. She cursed the waves and vowed never to approach the river again. But on the 7th night of mourning, she walked barefoot to the river bank, carrying her late husband's cap. Her eyes were swollen, her voice trembling with both love and rage. "Yemoja," she cried, "if you took him, take me too." The wind shifted. The river answered, with a whisper that sounded almost human. No one dared to visit the river after that night. Fishermen left their nets. Mothers warned their children never to fetch water alone. The river had become a wound in their land. But 3 nights later, Baba Oloye, the priest of Oya, dreamt of Adoni standing waist deep in the river, her eyes glowing faintly like embers beneath the current. She was calling his name. He woke drenched in sweat. He told the elders, "The woman is not gone. Her spirit walks with water." They looked away, unwilling to believe his trembling voice. Still, he went to the river, his staff etched with cowrie shells, his chants heavy with ancient power. The air thickened. The river rippled though no wind blew. He saw her reflection before he saw her shape. Adoni's face, serene yet sorrowful, forming on the water's surface. "Baba," she whispered, "I am neither dead nor alive." The priest fell to his knees. "Who has done this to you, child?" But the river swallowed her voice before she could answer. That night, the river turned bright blue. People said it was Yemoja's warning. Others said it was Aduni's soul refusing to rest. But everyone agreed something ancient had awakened. Young boys dared each other to approach the bank. They swore they heard laughter beneath the water, soft and sorrowful, like a woman humming an old lullaby. At dawn, the headman's wife found strange wet footprints leading from the river to the village square. They ended abruptly beside Adoni's old stall, where her broken mirror still lay. The mirror fogged itself, though no one touched it. When her friend Aina looked in, she saw Adoni's reflection smiling back. Then the image rippled and vanished. Aina fainted instantly. The elders gathered again, their faces tight with fear. "A spirit walks among us," Baba Oloye said, "and it is bound to water." His eyes glistened with tears. "Omini Babawa, the river is our father, but when the father is angry, even the child must tremble." By the 5th night, strange things began to happen. Goats bleated as shadows. Calabashes cracked without cause. The air around the river smelled of lilies and salt, even far inland. Aina swore she saw Aduni walking near the yam bands, her white wrapper dripping wet. She called out, but the woman only turned her head slowly, her eyes reflecting moonlight. When she vanished into mist, Aina ran to the elder's house screaming, "She's not gone. Aduni is walking among us." But the old men shook their heads in dread. The next morning, all the river fishes floated lifeless at the surface. Their silver scales shimmered like glass and the river hummed a low tune, a woman's song of mourning. Baba Oloye gathered the villagers at the shrine. He said, "We must perform the appeasement for Yemoja, or the woman's grief will drown us all." But deep inside, he feared something greater. Aduni was not a victim of Yemoja. She had become something else entirely. They prepared the offering by moonlight: white cloth, 7 cowries, palm wine, and a goat with spotless fur. Drums echoed softly through the village as women hummed ancient songs of water. Baba Oloye sprinkled salt and chalk on the ground, calling on Oya's wind to guide their words. The breeze came gently at first, then roared through the palms like thunder. He raised his staff high. "Yemoja, mother of the deep, accept our offering. Free our soul's saved daughter." But the river only rippled, mocking their efforts. Suddenly, a woman's voice whispered through the wind, "Why do you call me from peace?" The villagers froze. The goat broke free, leaping straight into the river without struggle. The drum stopped. The night went silent, heavy and still. The priest's staff trembled in his hand. "Aduni," he whispered, "is that you?" The voice returned, clearer this time. "I am not Aduni anymore. I am what your fear has made me." That night, rain fell without clouds. The villagers watched from their huts as sheets of water descended from nowhere. Children cried, mothers prayed, the river swelled, roaring like a wild beast. Aina couldn't sleep. She stepped outside, drenched in cold rain, and saw her friend Aduni standing by the river bank again, her wrapper torn, her hair streaming like black silk in the wind. "Aduni," Aina whispered, "come home." But her voice was different, layered like 2 people speaking at once. "Home. I am home. The river is my body now." Her bare feet touched the water and the surface glowed. Beneath her, shapes moved, faces, arms, eyes, echoes of those the river had taken before. Aina fell to her knees begging, "Please, Yemoja, let her rest." But Aduni's voice softened. "Tell them to stop fearing what they cannot understand." Then she dissolved into the current. By morning, the rain stopped, but the river no longer flowed straight. It curved through Ayatoro, as if it wanted to stay. Weeks passed, yet no one fetched water from the river again. Wells ran dry. Fear replaced faith. But one child, little Shade, kept dreaming of a woman smiling beneath the water. Her mother forbade her to speak of it, but Shade began leaving small flowers by the bank every morning. The water seemed to shimmer each time she came. One dawn, she heard the river whisper her name, Shade. It was soft, melodic, like wind brushing through beads. She froze, clutching her basket. "Who are you?" she asked timidly. The river answered, "I am the woman your people forgot. I am both grief and mercy. Do not fear me, my child." The water rippled and formed the faint shape of Adoni's face again, gentle this time, not haunting. "Tell them the river remembers kindness too," she said, before fading back into silence. That day, Shadi carried water home, for the first time in months, and nothing terrible happened. The villagers gathered again, astonished that the child returned unharmed. Some believed Yemoja had forgiven them. Others said the girl had been marked for something greater. Baba Oloye inspected the water himself. He saw his reflection twist into Adoni's face. "What do you want from us?" he asked. The reflection only smiled faintly. At dusk, the river began to glow again. But this time it was warm, not frightening. Children played near it cautiously, tossing stones that sank with tiny bursts of light. I now whispered to Baba Oloye, maybe it was never a curse. Maybe it was a warning. He nodded. The river tests our hearts before it blesses our hands. Still, some refused to approach, fearing the night's secrets. But Shade continued bringing flowers, and each time she did, the river grew clearer, gentler, more alive. The curse was slowly becoming a blessing.
One night, the old priest couldn't bear the weight of his guilt any longer. He visited the shrine alone, carrying a single candle, and knelt before Yemoja's idol. "Forgive me," he whispered. "It was my doing. I told Bamidele to fish on the forbidden day. I thought sacrifice would bring blessings. I killed them both." The flame flickered wildly. A soft cry came from the river, neither human nor divine. Then Aduni's voice echoed from the water, calm and filled with sorrow. "You sought favor from gods, but forgot the heart of man. Now your own spirit binds you more tightly than mine ever was." He wept, pounding the earth with his fists. "Let me bear her pain." But the river answered, "No one escapes consequence. Even love cannot wash away deceit." When dawn came, Baba Oloye's body was found beside the river, face serene, as if smiling in relief. After the priest's death, Ayetoro began to change. The river's flow steadied. Birds returned. The villagers poured offerings of gratitude, whispering Aduni's name with respect instead of fear. They rebuilt her stall at the market, placing fresh palm oil and flowers daily. Women sang her favorite song during the New Moon Festival, their voices echoing with both sorrow and peace. Shade grew older, inheriting Aduni's kindness and beauty. She often said, "The river is not cruel, it only mirrors our hearts." The elders nodded, finally understanding. But each night, when the moon rose, the river shimmered faintly, like it still remembered her pain. Sometimes, a soft melody floated across the water. Fishermen swore they saw a woman walking along the ways, her white wrapper glowing, her laughter echoing like wind through reeds. "Omiki Gragbe," the people said, "the river does not forget." Years later, travelers came to Ayetoro. They heard stories of a river that healed barren women and calmed storms. They called it Odo Aduni, Aduni's river. When they asked the villagers who Aduni was, the elders smiled softly. One said, "She was love that became water," a reminder that pain, when faced with truth, can transform. Every year, during the Oya festival, women dress in white and dance by the riverbank, calling her name. Some say, on certain nights, she dances back, her laughter carried by the wind. The story of Aduni spread beyond Ayetoro, whispered in marketplaces, sung by travelers, and remembered whenever rivers glowed under moonlight. And so even now, when the night is still, you can hear her song in the rippling water. Tell me, would you have gone to the river that night? If this story touched your heart, tell us in the comments. Would you have called out to Yemoja? And remember, some rivers never forget those who whisper their names. Which story do we tell next? Let us know in the comment below.